Hi, my name is Robelyn Jugo, and I'm gonna be presenting to you today the marketing management topic entitled Developing Pricing Strategies and Programs. This chapter will be addressing the following questions. First is how do consumers process and evaluate prices? Second is how should the company set prices initially for products and services? Third is how should the company adopt prices to meet varying circumstances and opportunities? Fourth is when should the company initiate a price change? And lastly, how should the company respond to a competitor's price change? This next page shows the presentation outline. Price is considered to be the central topic of this presentation. But what is price? Price is the one element of the marketing mix that produces revenue. Among all factors of marketing, it is considered to be the easiest element to adjust. It communicates to the market the company's intended product value positioning. It is also the major determinant of a buyer's choice. In this modern age, consumers now have various means of processing and evaluating prices. But how do consumers evaluate prices? They determine via previous purchase experience. They also determine prices via formal communication like advertisements, and informal communication like word of mouth from friends, or probably via point of purchase or online sources. How do we set initial prices for products and services? We consider 6 steps. First would be selection of objective. Next would be determining of demand. Following this is the estimation of cost. Then analyzing of competitors' costs, prices, and offers. Next would be selecting of pricing method. And finally, the selecting of final price. In the succeeding slides, we will be discussing the steps mentioned. The first step is selecting of the pricing objective. A pricing objective can be survival, it could be maximum current profit, or it could be maximum market share. In an objective of maximum market share, a company can decide to lower its price in order to discourage market competition. It is to gain the bigger share of the pie. Next would be maximum market skimming, wherein a company decides to set a high initial price in order to not attract more competitors to the market. That is, the high price communicates the image of a superior product. Then another objective would be product quality leadership, wherein a company focuses on the quality of the product in order for it to become an affordable luxury, such as companies like Starbucks. Step 2 is determining demand. But what is law of demand? Law of demand states that the higher the price, the lower the demand. In connection to the law of demand, we have price sensitivity. A price is considered to be less sensitive when there are few substitutes or competitors. That is when the consumers do not readily notice the higher price. Consumers are slow to changing their buying habits. Consumers think the higher prices are justified, and price is only a small part of the total cost of obtaining, operating, and servicing the product. Elasticity of demand has 2 types. It could be either inelastic or elastic. An inelastic demand is when a change in price is little change in quantity demanded because the goods are usually necessities, like electricity. While elastic demand is when a change in price does a big change in quantity demanded. That is because goods are usually luxuries, like clothes. Now we proceed to the next step of setting price, which is estimating of cost. A company is concerned about different costs. It could be fixed or it could be variable. But of course, the bottom line is the total cost. They are also concerned about the average cost, which is said to be the cost per peso. The next step to price setting is analyzing competitors' costs, prices, and offers. We have 3 instances when we could adjust prices. First is when the business product has more or less value than its competitors. Another instance is when there is a change in the objective. It could be when the company aims to increase its market share, so they could resort to reduction in prices. On the other hand, if it aims to maximize its profit, it may resort to increase in advertising costs or improvement of product's quality. The 5th step to price setting is selecting a pricing method. There are various types. First is markup pricing, where a business identifies its costs, then add a desired markup or profit. Markup is usually higher for seasonal items, specialty items, slow-removing items, items with high storage and high handling costs, and also demand inelastic items. Examples are prescription drugs. This pricing method is the most popular because of its simplified pricing task. Since it is popular and is used by most companies in the industry, it minimizes the competition, and it is perceived as a fair method for both the buyer and the seller. The second method that can be used for pricing is target return pricing. It is where the company prices based on a target return on investment. This is usually common for startups. There are, however, disadvantages to this type of pricing. That is, the target demand is not always met since pricing focuses on getting just the break-even. It also does not consider competitor prices, and it also does not consider the price elasticity of demand. The third pricing method is perceived value pricing. It is when the buyer's image of the product performance, the channel deliverables, the warranty quality, the customer support, and softer attributes such as supplier's reputation, trustworthiness, and esteem are being considered. Firms usually make use together with the pricing method other marketing program elements such as advertising, sales force, and the internet. An example would be the Nike rubber shoes. It is usually priced higher than the regular rubber shoes found in department stores because of its impression of durability. Another pricing method used is value pricing. It is where businesses are able to win loyal customers by charging a fairly low price for high-quality offering. This is a strategy used by companies like Daiso and Miniso. Another pricing method is the going rate pricing. It is where the prices are usually based from the competitors' prices. The banking industry typically offers the same range of interest rates, so if you ask from BPI or say BDO, there would only be little difference in interest rates for the plain vanilla banking products. And lastly, we have the auction type pricing method. It is the typical method used in exchanges such as eBay and Facebook Marketplace. The last step of price setting is the selection of final price. Final considerations includes the impact of other marketing activities. Specifically, it considers the competitor's relative pricing, quality, and advertising. The higher the quality and advertising, especially for market leaders, the higher the price. This can be seen, for example, in the difference in prices of a more advertised Mercury drugstore versus generic drugstores. Another consideration is the company pricing policies. This includes charges for refunds for purchased items in, say, department stores, or early withdrawal fees from banks, or no-show fees in restaurant reservations. Final pricing also considers the gain and risk-sharing pricing. That is when the buyers may resist accepting a seller's proposal because of high perceived level of risk. The seller has the option of offering to absorb part or all the risk if it does not deliver the full promised value. Though not as high in risk, the practice of pizza stores, such as Pizza Hut, of it's not hot, then it's free, can be perceived as a means of the business to shoulder potential risk to customers. Last consideration in the final pricing is the impact of price on other parties or the possible reaction of dealers, customers, suppliers, and government regulators. Now that we are all set with the initial price, it does not mean that the pricing strategy of the company ends there. There are circumstances which calls for price revisions. This includes geographical pricing, price discounts and allowances, promotional pricing, and differential pricing. Change in pricing due to changes in location is also called geographical pricing. A change in location does not only involve variation in prices. There are also practices like counter-trade involved. When we say counter-trade, this pertains to offering of items when you purchase a good instead of just plain cash. Change in price also happens if there are price discounts and allowances. There are different forms of price discounts and allowances. This could be a plain discount where price is reduced for those who pay bills promptly. There is also a quantity discount, which refers to the reduction in price for those who buy large volumes. We also have the functional discounts, or also known as trade discounts, which is offered by a manufacturer to trade channel members if they will perform certain functions such as selling, storing, and record keeping. Another kind is seasonal discounts, where price reduction is given to those who buy merchandise or services that are out of season. Example are hotels and airlines, which offer seasonal discounts in slow selling periods. Last kind is allowance, where it is given to ensure repeat participation of the buyer. Examples are trade-in allowances when you exchange old mobile devices for new ones in stores like Samsung and Apple. Adapting of prices also happens if the business has promotions. This may come in various forms like loss leader pricing, wherein say a supermarket drops the price of well-known brands like Jack Daniels for liquor promotions in order to stimulate additional store traffic for liquor lovers. Another form of promotional pricing is special event, where sellers establish special prices in certain seasons to draw in more customers. Example is rainy day sale. There is also a special customer pricing, where sellers offer special prices exclusively to certain customers. An example is elite members of Skin Station, which as mentioned in the previous slides, receives 10% discount in Skin Station cosmetic products and services. Promos also comes in cash rebates, which can be redeemed via applications like ShopBack. BPI previously partnered with ShopBack, where consumers can get up to 30% cash rebates if they shop using BPI credit card. Price discrimination happens when a company sells a product or service at two or more prices that do not reflect a proportional difference in cost. It has varying degrees. In first-degree price discrimination, the seller charges a separate price to each customer depending on the intensity of his or her demand. In second-degree price discrimination, the seller charges less to buyers of large volumes. In third-degree price discrimination, changes depends on 6 factors: customer segment, product form, image, channel, location, and time. For customer segment pricing, different customer groups pay different prices for the same product or service. Examples are student and senior citizen discounts. For product form pricing, different versions of the product are priced differently, but usually not proportionately to their cost. For example, water packaged in different containers. It is essentially the same water, however the price varies due to packaging. For image pricing, some companies price the same product at 2 different levels based on image differences. Example is Selecta's regular chocolate ice cream versus Selecta's Magnum chocolate truffle ice cream. For channel pricing, prices vary depending on the medium, quote and unquote, where it is sold. Coca-Cola carries a different price depending on whether the consumer purchases it in a fine restaurant, a fast food restaurant, or a vending machine. For location pricing, the same product is priced differently at different locations, even though the cost of offering it at each location is just the same. Example is difference in prices of theater seats, if you are, say, seated in the front or if you are seated in the back. Lastly, for time pricing, prices are varied by season, day, or hour. An example is Enchanted Kingdom's weekday price versus weekend price. In the next slides, we will be discussing the other factors initiating price change, specifically price cuts and price increases. First, why are there price cuts? It could be due to excess plant capacity, where the firm needs additional business and cannot generate it through increased sales effort, product improvement, or other measures. Another reason for price cuts is a drive to dominate the market through lower costs. In this situation, the company either starts with lower cost than its competitors or it initiates price cuts in the hope of gaining market share and lower costs. Whatever the reason for price cuts, this strategy does not always lead to something favorable for the company. Oftentimes, this pricing strategy can lead to low quality trap, fragile market share trap, where lower price increases the market share in the short term. However, long-term market loyalty is not gained. Another possible undesirable result is the shallow pockets trap, where the higher price competitors match the lower prices of the firm, but these competitors have longer staying power because of their deeper cash reserves. Eventually, this is considered to be a price war trap, where competitors respond by lowering their prices more. The opposite of price cuts is price increases. Why does it happen? It could be due to cost inflation, anticipatory pricing, or possible increase in cost and overdemand. Prices can be increased in various ways. First is the delayed quotation pricing, where the company does not set a final price until the product is finished or delivered. An example is the production of heavy equipment. Next method is the escalator clauses, where the company requires the customer to pay today's price and all or part of any inflation increase that takes place before the delivery. Next method is unbundling, where the company maintains its price but removes or prices separately one or more elements that were part of the former offer, such as free delivery or installation. Lastly, price increase can be done via reduction of discounts. The company instructs its sales force not to offer its normal cash and quantity discounts. And of course, it is not only your firm or you as a seller that can change prices. Competitors also change their prices. How do we respond to competitors' price changes? Response depends on the type of product or service offered. If the product is homogeneous, then the firm can search for ways to enhance its augmented product. If it cannot find any, it may need to meet the price reduction. But one must also remember that if the competitor raises its price in a homogeneous product market, other firms might not match it if the increase will not benefit the industry as a whole. Then this competitor, even if it is the brand leader, it will still need to roll back the increase. For non-homogeneous products though, a firm has more latitude. It needs to consider the following issues. Why did the competitor change the price in the first place? Is it to steal the market? Is it to utilize excess capacity? Is it to meet changing cost conditions or to lead an industry-wide price change? Does the competitor plan to make the price change temporary or permanent? What will happen to the company's market share and profits if it does not respond? Are other companies going to respond in the first place? What are the competitors and other firms' responses likely to be each possible reaction? Or if you are the brand leader, you may respond to low-cost competitors by further differentiating your product or service, introducing a low-cost venture, or reinventing yourself as a low-cost player. Now that we finished discussing the different concepts related to developing pricing strategies and programs, in the next slides, we will make use of a local company in order to illustrate what we have learned so far. I chose Pure Gold. Pure Gold is one of the top supermarkets in the country. It was incorporated in 1998 and started first as a hypermarket store in Mandaluyong City. It currently has a total of 329 stores nationwide. It is owned by Costco Capital, which also runs SNR and Office Warehouse in the Philippines. Pure Gold's target market is the less affluent. Upon this consideration, we begin with the setting of the price. The company's objective is to maximize market share. Thus, it focused on having its prices lowered in contrast to its competitors during its startup stages. After this, the next step is determination of demand. Although Pure Gold is comprised of commodities which may be considered as necessities, the supermarket business generally have a lot of substitutes. So a change in price is usually noticeable, especially with its target market of the less affluent. Price is a big part of total cost of operating its business in its lifetime, so the demand is considered as elastic. Next step is estimation of cost. Its costs are comprised of building rent and employee salary, among others. After this, we analyze competitors' costs, prices, and offers. Among its competitors are SM Supermarket and Robinson Supermarket. But for this example, we will just focus on SM Supermarket as its main competitor. Upon the entry of Pure Gold in the industry, It lowered its prices in contrast to SM's bonus items, which is the SM supermarket brand for grocery shoppers on a budget. Pure Gold may not have its own brand, similar to SM Bonus, but apart from lowered prices, it also offers promos and discounts on wholesale purchases and bundled items, which has been its competitive advantage. After analyzing the competitor, we proceed with selecting the pricing method. Pure Gold makes use of value pricing, that is to win the loyalty of customers by charging them fairly low price for high quality offering. Lastly, the final price is selected. Pure Gold considers the price's impact to customers, and it seemed to have been effective since, as mentioned, it was able to attract loyalty of customers. Now that the initial price has been set, this has been followed by various price adaptations such as quantity discounts as mentioned in the form of bundled items. Then Pure Gold also offers discounts for large volume purchases of small groceries and corporations. Promotional discounting is also being used for, say, their holiday bundles during Christmas season. And functional discounts are also offered within its chain channel members. It is seen in the established Aling Puring, which converts sari-sari store partners into mini-marts. Price differential is also seen in its customer segment pricing for senior citizens. After price adaptations, price change are observed because of Pure Gold's drive to dominate the market through lower cost. Again, as mentioned, they initiated price cuts in order to gain more market share. However, SM of course retaliated. In some of its low-end stores, it made use of its SM Bonus brand in order to reduce prices further. That is why if you go at most stores nowadays, there is no conclusive evidence which offers cheaper prices. Nonetheless, Pure Gold differentiated the store via rebranding. It changed the overall appearance of the supermarket's interior to be filled with brown boxes and relatively not that well-polished floors in order to retain appeal to the target market of less affluent, that their prices are cheaper than the rest of the supermarkets in the industry. So basically, that's it. To recap, in this presentation, we were able to discuss consumers' means of processing and evaluating prices, the ways of setting initial prices for products and services, ways to adapt prices to meet varying circumstances and opportunities, different situations where there are initiation of price changes, and ways to respond to competitors' price changes. This has been Robelyn Jugo saying that development of pricing strategies and programs is very important because a good company knows the importance of preserving the integrity of its prices.